Suppose you could change anything about yourself you wanted to. Where would you start? Well, like most of us, we start on the outside, right? Would you be skinnier, or taller, or shorter, or maybe better looking? Would you change your eyes, your hair, your teeth, your legs, your bulges? If you could wave a magic wand and change outward appearance, would it be a light touch-up or would it be an extreme makeover? I don't know. Would we even recognize you after you got through? I don't know. I think all of us go through periods where we desperately want to change something about ourselves, even if it's just our outward appearances. Teenagers live in a constant state of fear and anxiety over how they look. And are they wearing the right t-shirt or the right pants or the right shoes or whatever the latest rapper is wearing. But when we get older, we get smarter. Right? Y'all are not enthusiastic. Right? Okay. Well, we spend hours trying to find the right dress or the right shirt and tie. And we want to please the people that we're around. We want to look nice. And we're trying to impress. And we diet obsessively and we work out. And that's all good for your health. But to me, it's a losing battle. You lose 50 pounds and then slowly a half pound creeps up and another pound. And the first thing, finally you reach the stage in life where it's easier simply just to cover up. You know? Wear the black, like I do. Cover up. And in extreme cases, you could even just give up altogether and stop caring. Just stop caring about what you look like. But as hard as it is to change the way we look on the outside, it seems infinitely harder to change how we are on the inside. If there's anything we know about human nature, it's that people change slowly. They have this aversion to change. Nobody likes it. If they change at all, it's slow. Think about the struggles in your own life. Think about what change that's happened inside of you and how hard it was. If you could change anything right now on the inside of you, what would it be? Would it be an impatient spirit, a critical tongue, a spirit of discontentment, lingering resentment, a guilty conscience, a judgmental spirit, a quick temper? Would it be a mean streak? Would it be something just awful that you didn't want to change? We all want to change something, but we don't know how to do it, and we don't know where to begin. We all dream of being something different and better than the person we are today. And advertisers know this. That's why your mailbox, your email box, your television is crammed full of ads by promoters trying to help you get thinner, richer overnight, better looking, and a better lover. I got one the other day, and I love this. Watch unwanted pounds melt away. I like that metaphor. I don't know why. I think it's fun. Take this pill, eat this supplement, drink this super duper energy drink, and presto, the pounds just melt away. I love it. But change is hard, isn't it? It's go to any bookstore and you'll see an entire wall of self-help books up there. I was at Barnes & Noble the other day and got lost in self-help and had to ask somebody else for help. Helping people is big business. I mean, serious. And getting people to help yourselves. I could write a book on how to be a priest. It'd all be wrong, but I could write one. That's why we move. We change jobs. We get facelifts. We buy a new car. We start a new career. We try something new. We start working out, and it just goes on and on and on. And if it's not these things that are, there's nothing really wrong with them on the surface. But it's not the outward stuff that trips us up. It's the stuff on the inside. That brings me to our epistle reading. The first Sunday after Epiphany says this, "And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This is the part. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. And this is my key point. Most of us change very slowly, if we change at all. And only a few of us make any lasting changes except under pressure and a result of personal pain. There is no growth without struggle. As high school football coaches have been telling people the world for years, no pain, no gain. Right? Well, long-held habits can be changed, but it won't happen overnight. Patterns of sin can be broken, but it won't happen after a quick prayer on your knees here at Mass. You can see significant growth in your spiritual life, but it will not come without pain. Now, that's a downer, isn't it? As long as your life is going well, why should you change? That's the way I look at it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, if you live together in close proximity over a period of time with other sinners, that means that whatever is in your heart will eventually come out. What's on the inside will show up on the outside, right? Sooner or later. If you've got a tendency to cut corners, your friends will figure it out. If you fudge on the truth, if you're a chronic excuse maker, or you've got a critical spirit, your friends will know it. If you have a root of bitterness, or if you're just a difficult person to be around, all of it is bound to come out eventually. Now at last, according to our gospel today, you can do something about it. That something is what our epistle reading is about. It tells us that we can be transformed when our minds are renewed. How does that happen? How do you renew your mind? Well, the Greek word for transformed in our epistle is related to the word metamorphosis. I'm sure y'all remember the 7th grade science class where the little caterpillar turns into the butterfly. Well, that's metamorphosis. Or a tadpole becomes a frog. It's a gradual change on the inside that produces a total transformation on the inside. The word means to be changed. Think of it this way. Jesus' transfiguration, which is what the Epiphany is all about, Jesus was still who he had been minutes before. But for a brief time, the curtain was pulled back, so to speak, and Peter and John and James saw the true God, the true divinity of Christ as best as any man could see. In that moment, they saw the real Jesus, the true Son of God. He did not cease to be man, but his true identity was revealed to them as very God of very God. When the Apostle John said that now we are the children of God, and what we will be has not yet been made known to us. He was talking about our future when we are with the Lord in heaven, but it's also true for this life too. God is in the transformation business. And you can't tell who will end up where or what plans God has for you or me tomorrow. We don't know. I got up one morning, had a cup of coffee, and thought it was going to be another day, and I had a heart attack. Surprise! It's lovely. God is determined that we will all be like Jesus in the end. Isn't that what we're here for? To become Christ-like? Isn't that little Christian, the little Christ? Isn't that what we're all about? God is determined that we'll be like Jesus in the end. And he says that we are predestined to be conformed to the image of God's Son. Now apply this all to your life, to your spiritual life. All of us are works in progress, right? We're not done yet. We may be sanctified, Archdeacon, but we're not completed. We're not perfect. Now apply this. We're not finished. We're under construction. If you've ever visited a construction zone, you know that it's noisy and it's trashy and it's messy and it's downright dangerous. All the sounds of all that machinery and stuff's going on, it's hard to imagine what the final result will be. Well, the same happens with us. You look back at the saints and look at everything that they went through in their life before God completed his transformation in them. And they became some of the greatest prophets that the world has ever seen. It's hard to imagine what the final result will be, but God never stops working on us because there's just so much work that needs to be done. In my case, it's evident that God's got a long way to go, but I'm encouraged by the certain knowledge that he won't quit halfway through the project, right? What God starts, God finishes. Sometimes I think we get squishy about the spiritual life. I know Baptists do. They get really emotional. And that's one thing that the Anglicans have always said. We base ours on cold, hard truth of the gospel. We don't base anything on how we feel. There's no touchy-feely singing. Well, you'll find out next song. Ask the archdeacon about that. He'll tell you all about it. And don't listen to him while he's singing back there. You'll hear what he's saying. But feelings. If we can only feel the presence of God, you know, we know we're doing good, right? You ever felt that? You ever had that feeling? I was driving down the road in Georgia one day over to, can't even remember the name of the town, it's from Douglasville out that way. And I remember just feeling the most wonderful feeling in the world. It was like God was right there in the truck with me. It was an awesome feeling. And I have lived since then to get that feeling back. It touches you, and it changes you. But as important as feelings are, they do not matter. Paul put the emphasis on the renewing of your mind. How do we get the renewed mind Paul speaks of? Well, Paul's answer is actually simple, though it's a lifetime of work. And that's the work that God's doing, but it's the work that you need to do for you too. It is, desire must be combined with discipline. If you want it bad enough, you'll work hard enough to get it. Our reading teaches us about spiritual metamorphosis. God intends that we will slowly be surely transformed into the image of Christ. It will not happen by accident. It does not happen overnight. It cannot happen without the Holy Spirit. It happens when we make a personal commitment. It happens with the godly encouragement of other Christians. It happens as we become what God has wanted us to be all along. It happens as we behold the glory of Jesus Christ. That's how the mind is renewed, by steadfastly gazing at the glories of Christ for what they really are. We must pursue the Lord so that we may know Him better and better. Then and only then will we be transformed by the renewing of our minds. A visit to the Billy Graham Library in Charlotte, North Carolina, allows visitors to see the spot where Ruth Graham is buried. Engraved on her tombstone are these words: "End of construction. Thank you for your patience." That's a perfect sentiment for this first Sunday after Epiphany, and a grateful congregation says amen. Remember the words of our Lord Jesus Christ, how He said it is more blessed to give than to receive.